From drinking games to the Jia family's fate. The most intriguing aspect of Cao Xueqin's novel, Dream of the Red Chamber, is the way that it incorporates allusions to other literary forms to provide the novel with additional layers of meaning. In Dream of the Red Chamber, there are several scenes depicting Jia family playing drinking games, a key component in Chinese drinking culture that combines poetry, music, and other forms of literature. In chapter 63, during the private party the maids throw for Baoyu's birthday, Baoyu and the girls play a drinking game called Choosing the Flowers. Cao deliberately uses the literary characteristic of the game to imply the fate of the individual girls and the family as a whole. In Choosing the Flowers game, the player chooses from a special set of cards. On each card, there is a picture of a flower and its name, a line from a poem that is related with the flower, and directions on how much wine the players should drink. Cao implies the Jia family's doom and the girl's fate in three parts of the flower cards: the flower, the phrase in the poem, and the instructions. Players are numbered and take turns rolling dice to determine who is the one to choose the card. Once the player chooses the card, she or he has to read the words and follow the instructions. In the drinking game, Musk, one of Baoyu's senior maids, chooses the card Rose. The flower Rose, which is the last flower in spring, implies Musk's fate. Musk is loyal, quiet, and smart, much like Aroma, so she is often considered as Aroma's shadow character. After Aroma marries, Musk is the only maid and the last one that accompany Bao Chai when Baoyu at last becomes a monk. The title of the card is Summer's Crowning Glory, 少华盛极. In Chinese, the title means good times is at its greatest extent. According to Taoism, when things come to extreme, it goes to the opposite direction. At this time of the novel, the Jia family has shown several signs of decline and chaos. The title implies that the prosperity and good fortune the family has enjoyed has come to an end, and the time of adversity is in the offing. This idea of coming to an end is also implied in the poem line, 开到荼蘼花事了. After sweet rose, there is no more blooming, which is an excerpt from Visiting a Small Garden in Late Spring by Wang Qi. The web translates the complete couplet as, when rose fades comes the end of all flowers, only the trailing plants appear over the mossy wall, describing rose as the last flower of springtime. Rubus rosafolius, 荼蘼花, translate as rose here, blooms in late spring and marks the passing of spring and the end of a beautiful time. The poem implies that Jia family's fortune is doomed to win. The instruction, all present drink 3 cups to commemorate the passing of the flowers, is also intriguing. The instruction echoes the last words of Qin Keqing, Jia Rong's ex-wife who died of illness in chapter 13. When Keqing dies, her soul exhorts Xifeng to be alert to the family's unstable financial circumstances, extravagant spending, and the impermanence of the family's favorable conditions. Keqing says to Xifeng, when the 3 springs have gone, the flowering time will end, and each one of himself as best he may must fend. This is Keqing's prediction that after the 3 spring sisters, Yingchun, Tanchun, and Xichun left the household, the family's good time will end. In Chinese, flower is a common metaphor for a beautiful woman. The blooming of flowers is the symbol of spring and good times. In the instruction, commemorate the passing of flowers, again is Cao Xueqin's birthplay, implying that the fantasy of Jia family is fleeting. From this example of musk and drinking game, we can see how Cao Xueqin combines traditional cultural activities with widely known poems, which adds more layers to his words. Also, by implanting individual fates in poems, Cao also shows a side of him believing in fatalism.